Okay, now let's start दिसंबर 2019 का एजुकेशन पेपर 2 का जो पेपर है हमारा एनटीए द्वारा। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, इन द एट फोल्ड नोबल पाथ्स। एट फोल्ड नोबल पाथ्स कहाँ पे है? बुद्धिस्ट में है ना, बुद्धिज्म में। एट फोल्ड नोबल पाथ गिवन बाय बुद्ध, व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज द बेसिस ऑफ राइट नॉलेज। राइट नॉलेज का बेसिस क्या है? राइट फेथ एंड राइट रिजल्ट। मैं सब नहीं पढ़ रही हूँ, जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ रही हूँ आंसर, ठीक है। रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग विल बी एम्फासाइजिंग इन व्हिच ऑफ द काउंसलिंग पैराडिज्म। रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग ये है रैशनल काउंसलिंग के अंदर। प्रेम्बल टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया मेंशंस डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ लाइब्रेरी फॉर द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया। व्हिच टाइप्स ऑफ लाइब्रेरी extremely sorry. Preamble to the Constitution of India mentions different types of liberty. Liberty दिया गया है ना for the people of India. Which types of liberty out of these have a direct bearing on the practitioners in the field of education? वो है liberty of thought and expression. According to Jain philosophy, when by the possession and practice of right faith, knowledge and conduct, the influx of fresh karmic matter is blocked. This state is called stoppage और sanvar. बाकी स्टेजेस दिया गया है ना, फ्लो, बॉन्डीज, बेरिंग आउट एक्सेट्रा। तो यहाँ पे स्टॉपेज होगा आंसर। नियरेस्ट कोश टू आत्मन अकॉर्डिंग टू वेदांत फिलोसफी इज कॉल्ड, वो है आत्मन के नियरेस्ट कोश कौन सा है? आनंदमय कोश। Islamic tradition in education lays stress on inculcation of which of the values? Humility and nobility. Humility and nobility. According to Sternberg, which one of the following is the most important goal in learning intelligent behavior? वो है confronting noble tasks and situations of learning to deal with them. In the 6 basic types of learning as given by the Tolman, ठीक है, in his later theoretical articles, which one is similar to Skinner's conditioned reinforcement? यह equivalence beliefs learning. ओके, नेक्स्ट है हमारा, आगे देखेंगे ये वाला 6th क्वेश्चन देखेंगे। Which of the following subordinate laws in Thorndike's theory of learning is equivalent to Watson or Pavlov's classical conditioning theory? है associative shifting. A student of class 10th approaches the class teacher and informs him that the schedule of examination when announced makes him uneasy. What type of guidance does this situation warrant? पर्सनल गाइडेंस, बिकॉज एग्जाम टाइम टेबल तो सबके लिए फिक्स्ड ही है ना, वो तो चेंज नहीं हो सकता। उसके बाद देखेंगे, व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कमीशन और कमिटी वाज रिक्वायर्ड एक्सक्लूसिवली टू एड्रेस टीचर एजुकेशन इन इंडिया? वो है जस्टिस वर्मा कमीशन। द internship program in teacher education has been provided to the student teachers in the training program. Which of the following assessment area of learning outcomes will belong to the category of lower level mastery of facts and information as shown in reproducing them when asked for? Okay, at the district level, which of the following institution has been ensured with the responsibility of in-service teacher education for primary and elementary school? वो है डाइट्स। RUS RUSA MSET providing strategies funding to eligible state higher educational institutions. Broad function of SCRT are development of curriculum, textbooks, training, research and innovation. Which branch of philosophy has a direct relevance for deciding transactional strategies of curriculum? By epistemology. In developing learning outcome based curriculum, the formulation of objectives in behavioral terms poses challenge for which of the learning types given below? Learning of critical and creative thinking. In a research study, the variable which is not directly observable but whose effect is inferred on the dependent variable इस term में जो मतलब रिसर्च के टाइम में डायरेक्टली दिखाई नहीं देता है लेकिन उसका इफेक्ट होता है वो क्या है इंटरवेनिंग वेरिएबल द combination of different approaches to validate information strategies and results in research studies technically known as triangulation. An investigator commits type 2 error when he accepts a null hypothesis when it is false. Which of the following research designs utilizes data from individuals, autobiographies, and personal tax discussion? Narrative research design. In which of the following the main purpose of research is to formulate generalizations leading to theory building? A. Experimentation with controls and manipulation of variables. Which of the following research designs is the most appropriate for uh, depicting lived experimental realities? A. Phenomenological designs. An investigator wants to study the functioning of a school meant for tribal children. The most appropriate research design for this context would be classified as ethnography. An, invest, an, an investigator wants to conduct a study on politically active student leaders in educational institutions. Which of the following methods of sampling would be most appropriate? We have purposive sampling. A weighting machine mostly over measures the weight of individuals. It will be said to be indicative of systematic error. Which of the following are the assumptions underlying the use of parametric statistics? ये होगा the variable being studied is continuous, then scores are normally distributed, then variance over all groups are equal. Standard of performance for a defined domain is termed as rubrics. Standard of परफॉर्मेंस फॉर ए डिफाइंड डोमेन एक डिफाइंड डोमेन के ऊपर जो स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस होगा वो है रुब्रिक्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ Flanders interaction analysis categories FIAC in 10 by 10 observation matrix the cells which indicate a sustained level of verbal interchange are known as steady state ratio SSR steady state ratio SSR okay then a teacher intends to conduct remedial classes लेना है for some students who are not responding satisfactorily. Which type of evaluation he or she would undertake for choosing students for his or her remedial classes? Diagnostic evaluation होगा. In portfolio assessment, which of the following should be given priority? The rubrics in terms of which portfolio will be judged. A teacher educator offers immediate comments in the following form for classroom behavior as being practiced by the student teacher. No, you should do it rather this way. This is an example of corrective feedback. For classroom discussion sessions, which of the following is the most appropriate in encouraging reflection amongst learners? Think, pair, share, assessments. In the instructional design been based on Skinner's theory of reinforcement, which of the following set of activities are appropriate? Step-by-step presentation of learning material, step-by-step presentation of learning materials, student response and immediately of feedback. Then which a combination of both face-to-face and traditional classroom methods with e-learning is used to create a hybrid approach to teaching which is called blended learning. A combination of both face-to-face and traditional classroom methods with e-learning is used to create a hybrid approach to teaching which is called blending teaching or learning. What describes a virtual classroom? Online learning environment assessed through the webinars is called virtual classroom. Use of educational technology is open and distance learning is helpful in promoting learner interest, ensuring cost effectiveness of the system. then facilitating learners to benefit from varied learning resources, making learners active participants in teaching learning processes. Which of the following has the high potential for empirical validation in using educational technology? Programmed instructional material. Which of the following statement explain the management principle span of control propounded by Fayal? One can make 4 to 6 people work effectively under him or her. Which of the following affirmations constitute critical pedagogy of Paulo Freire? Teaching is inherently political. Teaching implies absence of neutrality of knowledge. फिर दिया गया है issues of social justice and democracy are integral part of teaching. Strengths of behaviorism as learning theory are it provides clear predictions, it has real life application, it emphasizes objective measurement. Disadvantages of bottom up approach of budgeting are that the budget may not be synchronous with the overall objectives of the organization. Preparation may be slow. What are the reasons of negligible number of studies of cost effectiveness analysis? सॉरी मैं एक एक करके दिखा नहीं पाई, बहुत आगे पढ़ रही हूँ. देखो यहाँ पे है 44. एक होगा what are the reasons of negligible number of studies of cost effectiveness analysis of projects in the field of education? एक होगा evaluators inadequate background in CEA, lack of requisition exposure in CEA, lack of familiarity of the decision makers with CEA. And the basic competencies needed for an effective teacher education program have to be related to which of the following personality and attitude related dominance होगा locus of control, फिर सेल्फ एफिशिएंसी और एक पॉजिटिव एक्सपेक्टेंसी. कम्युनिकेशन मैनेजिंग मंटन में वो नहीं है. व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एक्शन वर्ड्स व्हेन एम्फासाइजेस इन टीचर एजुकेशन विल फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ रिफ्लेक्टिव टीचिंग स्टाइल? वो होगा एंगेज, एक्सप्लोर, इवेलुएट एंड एक्सप्लेन, क्लैरिफाई एंड इलाबोरेट. 47 का है professionalization of teacher education is needed to enrich teachers' knowledge of subjects being taught, sharpen teaching skills in the classroom, generate and contribute new knowledge for the profession. In planning and service teacher education programs in India, which of the following are most important? Making and service teachers training systems as an integral part of teacher preparation, then focusing on human resource development, emphasis on building commitment and confident level of teachers, enhancing financial budget जरूरी नहीं है, increasing the duration of in service teacher ये भी जरूरी नहीं है. For addressing needs and learners through a needs and of learners through a curriculum design, which of the following bases have to be relied upon and given consideration? Developmental stage of learner, socio-cultural background of learner, और एक है cognitive characteristics of learner. 50 last question is part का. The Academic and Administrative Reforms Committee of UGC has given recommendations in respect of curriculum development, suggesting some needed steps. क्या है वो? Updation or revision of curriculum to a limited extent every year and substantially every 3 years. Updation of curriculum to be carried out in terms of current knowledge, national and international developments, curriculum translations and synergies of all faculty members. इतना जरूरी है. ओके, थैंक यू.